Hi, hello, welcome back to 2D Tadpole Makes. My name is Brittany. Today, well, hold on a second. I am a crocheter and all around craft enthusiast. And today, as I was trying to say, today I am starting to get ready for an event that I have this weekend. So I am going to just kind of show like what I personally do to get ready to go to craft shows, vendor events, stuff like that. So it's just kind of a little glimpse into my process. Not everybody does it the same way, but this is just kind of what works out for me and helps me stay organized and know where I'm going, what I'm doing, what I'm taking, and where it is, most importantly, because nothing sucks worse than getting to an event or anywhere that you're going and being like, oh my God, I forgot whatever. So today we're going to start going through all of my products that I'm bringing to the event with me, and probably going to get my tent out. That's another thing that I always do besides getting my inventory out. I always take out my tent, set it up, or at least pull it out and make sure I don't have any holes or rips or tears. I also make sure that I make a list so that I can keep track of inventory that I have sold, even though I have all of my online stuff. So, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so now I have set everything out in my little categories, and I have done a list. I always put the event name and the date that the event is on or through if it's more than one day. Like this one is 2 days. I don't have to do both days, but I always put, if it's like this one is the 11th and the 12th. So I'm going to put 11 and 12 just in case I do decide to do both days. It's a pretty laid back event, so I can go both days or I can go just one, and they're fine either way. So I divide my list into categories. Sorry, phone noise. For this event, I have beanies. So I have my beanies set right here, and they kind of go, it's kind of spread out all over the place, sorry. So what I do is I lay each of them out. If I have multiples, I'll make a pile of each multiple, and then I will count how many I have in each pile. If I just have one, I'll just mark down one. If I have three, like I have 3 of my evil twin beanies, I have 3 of those on the list. I've got 2 in the camel, so I've got 2 of those on the list. 2 of these, so they're on the list. When I first started doing events, I didn't write a list. I just kind of threw everything in there, and then I'd have people say, oh, do you have another fox? And I would have sold 2 foxes, and I think I've got one more, but I'm not sure. Let me dig through my box. When I started doing a list and keeping track of exactly how many I have of each thing, it made it a lot easier, because I could, if I sold a fox, I could just mark off my number 2 and then write a number 1. And then I could say, I have one more left, he's right over there. It also helps me keep track if something goes missing. It helps me keep track of what I have and where it is on the table, because this list, I will go over this list like 3 or 4 more times before Saturday. Because I'm always making, I'm always working, I'm always busy, so things will get added. And even the night before, maybe even the day of, I may set up and decide that I don't want to have something out, and just take it out and mark it off the list and make a note that I put it back in the box, put it back in the car, whatever. So it helps me keep track of where everything is. I usually have 2 tables. So what I will do when I set everything out is I usually take a picture of each table and how I have it set up. And as I'm setting it up, say I put these 3 beanies on table number 1, I'm going to mark them that they're on table number 1. That way, I can, if somebody says, hey, do you have any beanies? I could just be like, table 1, right over here. It helps me keep track. Some people may be like, oh my God, that's way too much. That makes no sense. And it probably doesn't. Because once I get to talking and then I start thinking, I start talking about other stuff. It may be too organized for some people, and that's okay. Everybody at an event is going to have their own way of doing stuff. They're going to have their own way of setting up. They're going to have their own way of prepping. And this is just my way. This is just what works for me. So, now that everything has been written down in its little category, I'm going to start packing it back up. It was a mess when I put it in there because when I finish an event and I immediately come home and start working on restock for the next event. So as I make, it just gets tossed in the box. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack it up as neatly and as organized as I can. Some things are bigger than others. Some things are smaller than others. So they may fit in different boxes, which may split my categories up, but that's okay because I keep track of where it went on the list. So here we go. Step number 1 for me is to always make sure my containers are clean. You never know if you're going to pick up dirt, dust, or grass. So make sure you keep those clean to keep your inventory clean. Now I'm just checking product versus list, and then as I add little stuffies to this box, I'm going to mark them down on my list so I know exactly where I stored them. Now I'm going to add my pricing list and a couple of little extras, and then I always double check that my square reader is in the appropriate little box. Boxes 2 and 3, I'm going to do these just like I did box number 1. Pack it, check it, and then go on to the next item. Now that I have all my items packed, I'm just going to fold up my tablecloths. I don't want to risk them getting ripped during transit, so I'm going to pack them in the flattest box that I have. Okay, so now everything is all packed up neatly and more organized. I have my, beanies and smaller amigurumis down in here. This is my extra bucket. This is the big stuffies and pumpkins. And this is pocket shawls, hooded scarves, and I just went ahead and folded up my tablecloths as you just saw and just put them in on top of everything. So I actually have 3 boxes and a bucket this time. Deal. So I was going to say I did not get a chance to take the tent out and inspect it today, but that is on the list of things to do tomorrow. Just to give you a real quick rundown of what I do, I take it out in the backyard, I open it up at least halfway, if not all the way, and inspect the cover for any rips or tears or holes and bent poles. I try to do it at the beginning of the week of my event. That way, if I do have a problem where the tent needs replaced or repaired immediately, I can get it fixed with plenty of time to spare. And then I also check the night before as I am packing my vehicle, just to make sure that nothing happened between my first check and arriving at my event. I also made sure that I packed my tent stakes to secure my tent, just in case I need it. If it gets a little too windy or anything, I always make sure that I have them. Some event spaces, you may be on concrete, so tent stakes aren't going to go in concrete. So you might need to, try to get like some sandbags or something. But for this particular event, I am going to be able to use my stakes because you don't want your tent to get picked up by a big gust of wind and hurt somebody or, stuff like that. I may or may not have time to film, but I'm hoping that I will. I'm going to get as many little snippets as I can to try to show you guys how I set up my tent and my tables and my inventory and how I, use different things that I bring with me to make different levels. What is this? levels to my display, and hopefully I'll be able to set up a little bit so I can show you guys how I do it by myself, because when I go to these events, I actually go by myself. So setting up the tent and the tables and chairs and inventory and packing it up to go and tearing it down and packing it up to bring it all home, that's all on me. So it may be very helpful if you are considering doing vendor events and craft shows and stuff, but you're not sure if you could do it by yourself, because I've been doing it by myself for a while now, and it definitely gets easier. So I may have something to help you out a little bit. I don't know. So yeah, if you hung out with me this far to the end of the video, thank you so, so much. If you want to see more, you can like and subscribe, and you can follow me on social media. And you can also find me on Etsy and Go Imagine if you are ever wanting to shop. All of that is linked on my channel. It's also going to be linked down in the description. And yeah, thank you so, so much for hanging out with me today. It's been a little bit busy, a little bit crazy. I got the kids running around like crazy, so definitely a multitasking day. So I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye.